and like Chaplain Kirshner said, I'm a junior and a half. I'm a religious studies major, an international studies minor, and a leadership minor. Today, I have the blessing of being up here, and I have the blessing of being the Deacon of Spiritual Nurture for the 2018 and 2019 academic year. Being up here is definitely a new spot for me. Today is All Saints Sunday. Usually it's celebrated on the 1st of November, or the first Sunday of November, which is today. All Saints Sunday is a time where we celebrate the saints both known and unknown. We celebrate our loved ones who have moved past their time on this earth. We celebrate the life that comes next. The gospel reading this Sunday is perfect for All Saints. This story is the last miracle that Jesus performs in the Gospel of John. In total, there are 7 miracles or 7 signs. That is why we call the book of John the book of signs. Some of the other miracles outlined in John are Jesus turning water into wine, feeding the 5,000, walking on water. There are more, but I would say this miracle is probably his biggest, which is no surprise it comes as his final act. This is his final miracle before he embarks on the journey to the cross. Bringing someone back to life after 4 days is a miracle that we can't comprehend, and even the people closest to him can't comprehend. I don't think they expected Jesus to restore the life of Lazarus, but he did. The text gives readers hope in the power of Jesus Christ. In verses 25 and 26, which is just before the gospel reading for today, Jesus proclaims, "I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me, even though they will die, will live. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die." Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, they are all devoted to Jesus. They believe in the words, they believe the teachings, and they have this strong faith. The life of Lazarus was restored through the faith. And on All Saints Sunday, this passage should be a message of hope for those who have gone before us. Even though our loved ones may have left their life on this earth, they continue to live. They live in the next kingdom, and they live in our hearts. There is hope in the faith we have and the love we share for our saints. While this passage is perfect for All Saints Sunday and applicable to the people who have gone before us, there is more to this story that we can take into our daily lives. So I made this sermon a little interactive, and you will have to raise your hands when I ask a question, if that's okay. So, with a show of hands, how many people here have a smartphone? How many people have a laptop? And how many people have a TV in their room? Okay. Now, how many people have a Netflix or a Hulu account? And a YouTube profile? What about Facebook? Okay. So, it seems like everyone has raised their hand at least once at this point. The internet, social media, and other sites, they're really great. Information moves quickly. We can find our friends who have maybe lost connection with us. And we all know that social media kind of takes precedent in some of our homework over our homework lives. So personally, I love Instagram. So how many people have an Instagram profile? Great. You can friend me, Zoe, I'll see 17, it's whatever. So I don't know how much time everyone spends on their apps, but what I found was research from the Telegraph shows the average adult spends around 24 to 40 hours a week behind a screen. According to iGen by Dr. Jean M. Twenge, adults aged 18, which is close to our age, spend 6 hours of leisure time a day behind a screen. So that's 42 hours a week. This includes phone time, laptop time, desktop time, texting, which is one of the biggest time consumers, video game, Netflix, YouTube, Hulu time, everything like that. But what it doesn't include is if your job or homework also is behind a screen. So if that's the case for you, you'll have to add a few extra hours in. The average young adult checks their phone the average young adult at age 16 to 24 checks their phone 8.6 times an hour. So again, we'll just round it down because we want to be nice, so that's 7 times an hour. So it doesn't seem too bad, but when you think about it, from 9 a.m. to midnight, which seems to be the typical college day, that's around 105 times. That doesn't account for a text from your bae, an email from your professor, maybe even a pseudo vibration, or a tweet from Trump, which we're not going to talk about. The point is, we are consumed. We are living online. We are living in our heads. We are living in a world that is dying, and people don't know because they are too consumed with this new version of living. So, every summer, I have the opportunity to be a counselor at Camp Nawaqwa. It's a live-in camp near Gettysburg. Camp Nawaqwa, or Nawaqwa, actually means camp in the woods. As you can imagine, cellular signal, it's very low. For many years, it's been non-existent. Recently, cellular service has found its way onto our sacred ground. Phones have interrupted nature walks, rest time, campfires, and camp-wide games. The constant need to stay connected to others has impaired our ability to connect with the people around us. Before my time as a counselor, I was obviously a camper. Unfortunately, when I first started, when I was a freshman in high school, I may have been the girl who wanted to stay connected. I was afraid to make friends, I didn't really want to reach out, and my phone was a security guard for me. But the older teens who had been there longer encouraged me to put my phone down. They made me meet some of my best friends in the entire world. They brought me into a community that I didn't know I needed. I think that process happens for a lot of new campers. People are reluctant to put their phones down and experience something new. When that transition out of the screen and into the world happens, new life opens up. Nature is clearer. Our neighbors are closer. Our world becomes real. So, what does this have to do with Lazarus? And that's a good question. Phones, TV, laptop, Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, again, they've all consumed us. Because of this, we are almost dead. We are dead to the world around us. Just as Lazarus was dead, so are we. I'm not suggesting that our hearts have stopped or anything like that, but again, if we're living behind a screen, are we really living? We aren't living and experiencing. We are watching. We are simulating. We aren't serving our neighbors. We are tweeting or Insta-snapping about it. But Jesus calls us back to life. Lazarus, come out. Emma Kate, come out. Tony, come out. People of God, come out. Leave your tweets, your shows, your snaps. Come out and live. Just as Lazarus regained life through Christ, we too need to regain that life. This story is a call into action. Jesus is calling us out of ourselves, out of our technology, out of death, and into the world. I'm sure you all know that there's a lot going on. People are hungry in our own backyard. People are affected by homelessness, racism, it's alive. Not to mention sexism, environmental destruction, familial destruction at the border. Just this past weekend, the events in Pittsburgh has personally reopened my eyes. Right now, I would like to argue that there are enough tweets, there are enough videos, there are enough snaps. There may be enough prayers, which is hard to imagine. But there is not enough action. Jesus is calling us out, again, out of death and into action, into the world. We need to work. We need to love our neighbors. We need to form real-life communities. We need to have faith, but also act on that faith. When we live as we are called to, our lives change. We have the opportunity to change the world by leaving behind the screen and hearing that voice. Jesus cried with a loud voice, "Come out." Just as Lazarus was able to rise, we too can. On All Saints Sunday, a time when we celebrate and remember the saints, let us live for them. Let us come out of death out of darkness and into the light of Jesus. Amen.